Hey everyone, welcome back to the Superverse podcast, the voice artist interviews and podcast. Today with me I have two good friends of mine, RidersDX and ZakPak. Would you guys like to just introduce yourselves a little bit, starting with you, Riders?
So I was born when YouTube first came out. Never really seen as anything more than just a nice, fun little distraction. So people would just upload on there, and I think first time I ever uploaded something that was noteworthy was when I decided to look, because there was this really cool sprite series called C that I was obsessed with. It was the best thing ever. So I was like, I want to make something like that. I want to be cool and famous like that guy. So I made one worst movie called Sonic versus SpongeBob, and that was getting back into it. The video did right now, but the issue is
everyone hated it. I think it kind of just taught me about the best things get attention, but also the worst things get attention too. So it's kind of an interesting thing about YouTube that I think about title my videos. But long story short, I kind of went through phases of YouTube and not doing YouTube, and this latest iteration of me something fun to do as a break from all the schoolwork I was doing in college and such. And so I sort of just made YouTube videos about video games just as a bit of a way to escape from all that I had college, and it actually sort of stuck. I started making videos and people were actually watching them, and not just watching one video and then forever. People were actually watching regularly, and so it was pretty cool, and kind of made me sort of grew into love as I kept doing it. And so I just really enjoy talking to random people online about the video games I like, the TV shows I watch. It's always been a thing for me. It's just giving people a place to talk about things that both them and SpongeBob game, which very few people still talk about nowadays compared to the likes of I don't know, Legend of Zelda. Just those really big franchises. But SpongeBob games have always been a big thing, and I think it's just kind of make this channel where people love to come and talk about them,
Yeah. When did you first realize that there was an audience sticking? A regular audience that would come back and watch all the time?
When I covered Nickelodeon kart racers in particular, because I felt this is a game that very few, to be honest. I had some videos that got some views, and I thought it was a game that no one cared about. So that was one of the very first sign. And so when Valve became on Rehydrated in particular, that was a wake-up call to me that there's a huge for these games actually, and people want people that are interested in these games talking about them. That's kind of how in particular came to be a pretty significant part of my channel. I just feel for content creators covering games compared to games I covered Sonic the Hedgehog and Crash Bandicoot. Ultimately, my channel is about the games that I enjoy playing, but Spun definitely a big one.
Well, that's definitely how I found your channel. I came across it. I was a big fan of the game and big fan of the fact that it's being rehydrated, and look where we are now. And Zach, how did you get into the YouTube kind of business and get in contact with riders? When did that start?
I had kind of went through my YouTube phase in phases. I remember, just like Riders, once was on YouTube. I remember that I wanted my channel to be, because something I loved at the time, and I keep in mind I was a little kid, is I loved those Mario plush videos people made.
Super Mario Logan.
Super Mario Logan are kind of not great now. But, back 10 years ago, that was a big deal 10 years ago. So tried picking those, got bored of it. And then, what is it? It's been close to 8 years ago is when I formally now. And I went through phases, but to answer your question, the gaming audience, when I started covering Luigi's Mansion, because it was a game I was very passionate about. I did a video talking about the pre-release version of Luigi as a kid that was interested in all this. video was. But yeah, but whatever. SpongeBob came around and Rehydrated got announced. I personally got very excited for it. I loved Bikini Bottom. It's the first video game I ever made. Like, it's a big deal. And eventually I started to make more and more videos. More and more people started to watch. And I was like, I have to know this community more. So I know Riders, but I never got in contact with him, whatever. So I hit him up. I think it was on Twitter. And I asked him like, yo, like, I want to do something with you. You always be down to interview, whatever. And we did a little interview, and it was fun.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember when you posted it on your Twitter.
There's something so special about you just need to take one look at the Battle Bikini Bottom Discords to realize that that's definitely not the case. There's a lot of people that don't think it exists.
Oh yeah.
So it's there's a lot of people that love these games. There are people that like drug games, but they're not very plentiful. And so it's kind of cool that we all sort of found each other to Rehydrate, sort of kind of share that interest.
Well, we have you to thank for most of that, so.
Eh.
Well, I think it's really cool, and I'm glad you're the one who'd be on the ringleader of this side of the world. It's a lot of fun, and I've had a lot of good experience with you guys and getting to do the giveaway with Shift and everything, which of course we'll talk about later in this episode. But that was a lot of fun. It was super surreal, and the first time I think I talked to you, I remember it was back in May when you announced the relief. That was super surreal for me myself. So now that we're all good friends and whatnot, and
I cannot believe that was in May.
I know, right? It feels so long ago, but at the same time, it felt so not that long ago. And the fact that it's October, it's messed up.
It
about
really is. I feel so old.
God, me too. Yeah, so next question brings me to what was so special about Battle for Bikini Bottom when you were growing up? What were some of your most memorable moments? What were some of your hardest levels that once you got past, it felt good and that just made this game stick with you?
I remember seeing it as a kid at my local Stop and Shop. First of all, it was odd for me to see a video game in a grocery store. So it was weird. But also, you had SpongeBob in his whole green army helmet get up. I was thinking, wow, this looks really cool. The first franchise that I really became of in terms of games was Sonic the Hedgehog. I was so obsessed with Sonic, and maybe the SpongeBob games would be great too. So Battle for Bikini Bottom was a game I saw in the Stop and Shop. It's just Mom, give it to me, please. I don't have any way of convincing you otherwise besides just pure agony of
Mom, give me.
Get it. And so, Mom, let me get it.
Yeah, I think we've all had that moment. Mom, I'll be a good boy if you buy me this. Okay, but that means you have to be good. And I go home and I break something. Yep.
She was really cool about it, and she let me buy the game, and I was immediately it was just now you see, I didn't really understand the whole idea that licensed video games had this to me. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is just a video game, all video games are. And so I was just this is really good. Video games are great. I played more licensed ones in particular, and made me realize just how much of a rare gem it was so good that all licensed games were good. It's just that's not the truth, unfortunately.
Nope.
I have to say I don't think I ever really had a hard time with BFBB, to be honest, because pretty much every single game I played as a kid, I could not 100% because I was just terrible at video games. But BFBB, I was able to 100%. But I guess the kelp slide was pretty challenging. I remember.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
The time I did it, there was always this one shortcut that I would try near the beginning that, I just the slide for the rest of the way. I get the spatula pretty solid. That's the main thing that pops up for me. But I personally don't think FPB is a very challenging game, but I know people will highly disagree with that. So,
well, I definitely agree with you about that one.
Spot.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on that shit. I don't know who they let do the reviews, but they need to rethink some shit, man.
That review was complete bullshit, but it was so much fun to make fun of. So.
Oh, it was. Did you see the video? Someone put SpongeBob music over it, and it just made it 10 times funnier.
In one section of the puzzle, all you need to do is stand on a button, and that button opens a gate for you to bowl a bubble into so you can progress. The only problem is that during SpongeBob's wind-up animation for bowling, he walks forward. That means you fall off of the button, which closes the gate and prevents you from bowling the bubble where you intended, when you intended.
That during SpongeBob's wind-up animation for bowling, he walks forward. That means you fall off of the button, which closes the gate and prevents you from bowling.
It was amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely
Indeed.
amazing.
Indeed. Yeah. So, Zach, what was your earliest memories with the game? What were some of your hardest challenges? And what just made it so memorable for you?
So I think what makes it, I mean, there's lots of different things that make it so memorable for me, but I think one of them, the first ever played, like just remembering that I ever played, like, because there was a while, so I played obviously when I was a kid. I think it was back in like 2000, first played it, like the game came out. You know, I played it, and I didn't really play it much after I first played it and beat. I don't even think I played like maybe Rock Bottom or Sand Mountain and stopped. But then I remember one day, because I like to listen to video game soundtracks and all that, and then all of a sudden Battle for Bikini Bottom came up and the Sand Mountain theme. I was like, whoa, that's a wave of nostalgia. I want to play this game again. So then I got it and I started playing it, and writers said, like, when you're that young, you don't really have it much to base it off of. Now I know like what a good game and a bad game is, and I played it and I'm like, okay, this is legitimately a good game. Like, this is amazing. You know, I was probably like 10, 11, 12 at the time I repicked it up, so I didn't like say, yo, SpongeBob, like, this is some good quality shit right here, this is great.
Yep,
and as for challenges,
I spit on.
As for challenges, I don't think I really remember any like big, besides also, I mean, the obvious ones like the kelp slide. I think actually one I remember a lot, Mr. Krabs' Dream.
Oh my god, that one was hit or miss every time.
Level. I would rage at that level. I hated it so much. It was horrible.
I hated the Squidward's Dream just as much, to be honest with you. The platforming was god awful.
That was fun.
I'm not good at platforming.
I'm just like, you know what? I think the platform represents Squidward's fragile mind and how easy it is for him to submit himself to insanity.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
I mean, it was fun. It kind of reminds me like a Super Mario Sunshine levels where you get rid of FLUDD and you just have your way to like the end, really tiny, and your jumps need to be really precise and such. That's that game's version of that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was up till 5 a.m. the other day because I got the 3D All-Stars for the Switch, and I was trying to beat one of those zero FLUDD platforming levels, and I probably died like 25 times. I finally did it, and I think I actually woke up my sister in the next room because I screamed.
What platformers do to you, man? Like, they're still great. Like, I just got done like Fury Crash Bandicoot 4, and I'm just like, that was a wild ride.
They make you.
Yeah. So when people B is like really difficult, I'm like, have you all ever played platformers? Like, it can be so much worse than this. But
yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you.
Like, I really think that like BFBB is like, it does have some challenging missions, yes, and it might be hard for me to really see that because I played it for long. But I think the thing about its see is that you're able to like, if you're stuck at a level, you'll get to the final boss and see the story like primarily turns out. And so like technically you don't need to do the kelp slide if you don't want to. You can move on to like, I don't know, the SpongeBob's Dream or the Dutchman's Graveyard and get all your gold. I love that design mentality. You know, it's like, if you really want to get to the final boss with most of the game and enjoy yourself, then you can just do this instead, you know? So
yeah,
I thought that was a nice thing of BFB, what it let the player do.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed that aspect of it. It's more, honestly, in my opinion, more open than it is for something like Mario 64 or Mario Sunshine, because these levels you're able to skip challenges and still make it to the end of the area, and you don't have to like when you go into like a cannon to go to Delfino Park or whatever, you don't have to select your mission. You just go through it and do as you please. And I think that was one of the coolest things about it, getting to really explore the world that is Bikini Bottom, unlike ever before. It doesn't feel like linear. It feels open, and I can do as I please.
Yeah, I personally don't really compare it to Mario 64 or Sunshine. I more so compare it to Banjo-Kazooie, because it feels much more like that, where there's the hub world, and then when you go into the level, you work to your heart's content, get as many golden spatulas or jiggies as you want, and then move on. Of course, it's the requirements that you have to get, but if you get the number of jiggies or spatulas, you can proceed in the game without having to worry about being blocked by stupidness.
Yeah, I've never really thought of it that way, but it's definitely closer to that than it would be 64 or Sunshine.
I mean, these are all really great games we're talking about, so it's like
S tier.
Yeah, like I feel like the fact that BFBB got anywhere close to them is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was something I'm like.
I mean, like
else I've ever seen, so it deserves to be there.
So anyway, Riders, let's talk about the Rehydrated Relief a little bit. What did it mean to you? Like, what were some of the coolest things that happened? Just, your opinion on how it went overall.
We got a bunch of great things happen the relief. I'm really happy with how it turned out, personally. I think that it went beyond my expectations, definitely.
I remember getting very early on, because I think at the point I joined me, Riders, and I think Sheriff. I think it was just us three when
yeah, there was also Chet and oh gosh, the one that did like the rap song. What was his name?
Bassum. It was Bassum.
Bassum, yeah.
Oh gosh, he's gonna kill me.
Everyone was just so cool though, Rehydrated Relief thing, and I was like, sure, what is it? And he detailed a little bit for the five of us, and then we obviously naturally grew it from there, and it was, I don't know, I just thought it was such a cool thing, and then we managed to raise over for Doctors Without Borders. Like, that was awesome. And again, a few weeks later, we raised, how much did we raise for Color of Change?
I think a little under 1,000 Color.
Oh, I thought it was a little over.
Oh, I don't remember. So
yeah, I don't know that one. That one at least I got my
go, but either way, they both went well.
I was very happy to be part of both of them, and Riders, why don't you talk to us about what made you want to do this? What gave you the idea to do this?
I feel like there's so much negativity going on in the world during then, and there's still so much. This would be a cool way to kind of waiting for Rehydrate to come out, to just have something positive to invest our energy in. And so I was like, and I've always wanted to do a charity thing in general for a long time. I just never really felt like I had the guts to just go do. This event was so much more overwhelming to run than I thought it was gonna be. I really learned from it that to get done somewhat smoothly, because otherwise things would just be left in wherever, and you'll never see it happen. I think I got a little bit headstrong sometimes running it, because I was like, you got the technology working, that we know what's going on, all the announcement videos up, and it was just a lot to coordinate. I really very happy with how it turned. It gradually gets bigger and bigger as we got close to Rehydrate, and just huge highlight in my YouTube career, if you can call it that.
Oh, I absolutely would. You're doing very well. What was it like when THQ kind of just messaged you and was like, hey, you want a Rehydrated Fun Edition?
I was I was kind of confident that they were gonna do something with the relief, because I had sent them a couple months before. Yeah, it sounds great. We'll get back to you. And so I did that I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks before the release. They finally got back to me the day that was to start. And that's when they dropped that bombshell on me that, oh, here's a fun and 5 copies of the game to give out to people. Serious. This is actually happening. This is really cool. I feel like there's no company that would do stuff like this. A publisher would be so enthusiastic about interacting with its community. It was really great to see get involved in that way. It was really great to see Purple Lamp Studios donate to it and everything. It was a really great way to excitement energy, because it was the weekend before Rehydrate came out. Every all-time high in terms of excitement level.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was was unbelievable. I guess that's the easiest way to describe it.
It definitely was. It was unbelievable to even hear about it coming out in the first place. And Zach, what were your initial reactions when you heard that the game was being rehydrated back in June of 19?
I was working with my mom, and like the day before, THQ Nordic had announced that they were going to be new like remakes in a few days. So I turned on my notifications for them on the day before. So when I was in the car, THQ Nordic tweeted, "Are you ready, kids?" I screamed and scared the holy living crap out of my mom. Was not driving at that point; she was parked. And I told her, about the SpongeBob and all that. I'm like, "This is SpongeBob. Like, what else could it be?"
That's awesome.
10 minutes later, they actually formally announced it with a teaser, and I'll remember that for the rest of my life just because of how big the announcement was to me. More than the Luigi's Mansion remake, and obviously Luigi's Mansion was my personal favorite game of all time. So the fact that that remake got more of a reaction as opposed to a Luigi's Mansion remake, eagerly awaiting how long it would be until we got a release date and all that.
I was on the same boat with you though. I was like really looking forward to a release date for
we got our first gameplay 2 months later, right?
Yeah, something like that. It was at the Australian or Austrian whatever convention, and they showed off that really crappy burnt looking gameplay, and it looked amazing. The biggest thing I think I was impressed with was the fact every piece of grass was animated and modeled there, and that was just amazing, honestly. By the way, Zach, I am a huge Luigi's Mansion fan. Oh my god, Luigi's Mansion fan as well. I think I've told you about. So I was extremely excited about the remake as well. I wish it got more hype, but I think people were pissed it wasn't on Switch, and that's why they got pissed.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the case. I can 100% agree with you there. Actually, Riders, have you ever played Luigi's Mansion?
I haven't.
Oh my god.
You should, and if you need someone to do a video with, I'll be there.
I do like Ghosts. I actually do want to eventually. I just feel like I always am something else that I feel like I don't have anything interesting to say, like a Super Mario Sunshine video. It was my first ever Mario game. It's because basically the main reason is because I was a very Sonic fan, and so I thought Sonic, I need to hate Mario. That's the only way to be a Sonic fan.
Wow. All right. I see you.
Actually, so GameSpot was still, I used to write reviews on it, and so one of my very first GameSpot was Sunshine, and I tore that game up.
Did you even hate the game, or did you just go at it because you were a Sonic fan? I
think in my words, it was this is slow and boring, and Peach sounds gay. that was game sucks. Mario sucks.
No. That's fucking great.
Okay, I didn't say don't specifically, but that was basically the energy. It's just so nasty in that review. So I'm actually gonna take this video to read parts of the review and how much I've grown and matured as a person.
Yeah, I like Sunshine growing up. That was it. I never thought Peach sounded gay, but now I'll have a new outlook every time I watch a cutscene.
I don't know. I think I said that when I didn't even know what I meant.
Yeah, I know.
It just kind of
I'm fucking with you.
It's I feel very embarrassed about that review, but it's first of all, I can't figure out password to GameSpot, so I can't take it down.
Nice. So, Zach, did you ever have any experiences like this where you just felt so close to a fan base that you bashed anything else just because you were part of one fan base? It doesn't even have to be online, but maybe you're with your friends at school or something, and you just told them off.
It happens all the time at my own community, because like I say, I'm a Luigi's Mansion fan, it's obvious.
Yes.
And obviously there's a very split divide between people who like the first game, people who like the second game. And I am always this game is the only way the series should go, because of course they can make changes and make additions, but they shouldn't change the fundamentals of what the series is, like the films did. And then there are people oh, but the new stuff or stuff, it appeals to a broader audience. So there's always the arguments of which fan base is quote unquote correct, even though there is no quote unquote correct. It's So I guess that, if anything, that's why I got to get myself into it. It's because my own always has those arguments and discussions, and I'm on one side. I can't, So let's try to play like devil's advocate and be like,
I totally understand.
I
totally
love
see
playing
that.
devil's advocate. I think it's so fun to like explore two sides of a topic. So it's something I always try to do like with my videos. I think it's valuable trying to kind of like see where like someone else might be coming from. There's some really tough to do that with, but so
Exactly, they're not that important at the end of the day. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
you're not going to get game like the way you want it. Like for example, like Mario Party, I don't think it'll ever be good again, and it'll probably suck that it'll never be good again. But like at the end of the day, the video move on. Enjoy.
yeah.
It's true.
I think my big like YouTube and like the algorithm showered me with like attention was when I videos on the Sonic movie, and I remember making this one video where the design of the Sonic and people were bashing it left and right. They thought it was a disgraced franchise. I didn't love it. I didn't. So I just kind of made a video saying like the design isn't overall. It's fun to like explore different viewpoints and kind of see like what are some good aspects of this, like because I think you can find out anything. It's just be really important is like staying open-minded about lots of things, and was one of where I saw the value in that. You had all these people with this opinion and just kind of like spouting an opinion over basically, but then decided to come in here's a different take, here's why someone might like this, and it's like I didn't even fully like believe what I was saying, but I or just like exploring that mindset and kind of like trying to figure out, okay, what are some things that people genuinely like about this design? And thing for me back then, because it kind of like determined like how I approaching out.
I think it's good to understand both sides of a story type of thing, but I understood why people hated that design, but I also didn't understand why they gave it so much shit that they had to rework everything. Like, I would have watched the movie just the same and probably would have enjoyed it just the same if it wasn't changed. So the one thing I gotta say though is they did listen to what the fans wanted and kind of pulled up THQ Nordic where they actually cared and changed it, which shows that they listened.
Yeah, love it when people do that, and it's so much easier to do that in social media and everything, since people can just review their opinions like with fingers. It's so much easier to charge like what you think about something, and people see that a lot faster. So it's very well due to the nature of like the times that. But I think those two examples, THQ Nordic and then Paramount, are how you can use that to your advantage, and like actually work with the feedback and kind of like make changes as you see fit with what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that's cool to see happening because I feel like it also brings the fan base a little closer together. And when you find like-minded people, like when it came to doing that Rehydrated Relief, we all really hit it off together because we had a common love for this cult classic, and we connected with the studio and connected with Shift and Freeze and all them in Twitch, and we did something great for the community as well as for the doctors on the front line. And it's amazing what you could do now with social media, because once you get a whole community together, they're unstoppable.
I always see videos on Twitter where they there's apparently a really big divide between Twitch streamers and YouTubers. There still is, and there probably always will be. One thinks you're better than whatever. But it was really cool, especially for the Rehydrated Relief, to get all Twitch streamers who were Battle for Bikini Bottom people, and us YouTubers who were Battle for Bikini Bottom people, and we all came together for this cause together, rather than us making just streaming the game over on Twitch. We came together and we brought the best of what all of us offer. We made it money. So That's like one of the best building communities, is that things like this, which people probably think usually aren't real because two words are like having apples and oranges together, you still can make it work.
I absolutely agree, and it was really cool getting to work with you guys and getting to know you, and I'm very happy with what we did. Riders, that just brings me to another question. I don't know how much more time you guys have, so I do want to ask if there's anything you could have changed about the Rehydrated Relief, or if there's anything you would have wanted to do more with it, what would they have been?
I would have liked HQ Nordic to have given me about the maybe not tell me like the day of.
Would have been
It worked
nice.
out just fine, you know. That was the thing about the thing that was really nice about the relief was that like starting with those like core like 5 beginning with had some people that I kind of grew to trust more with time. So it's like I had Sheriff like announced like the fun edition thing. So I like get on Twitter at that point. So kind of do those things more in advance. But honestly, I wouldn't really change. I feel very happy about how it turned out. And if there's anything to do with it, there's always next year, you know.
Sure.
I really would become like a somewhat like annual tradition. We'll kind of have to see like if we want to do it like a similar time next year or do it closer to like a big sponge. I think that's something that really helped with the relief.
Yeah.
The fact that it was like a week before Rehydrated came out, like it really helped to drive the hype. So if there's some like big SpongeBob thing happening, I would love to kind of like do it close to that, because that worked out really well for us. But no, I wouldn't change a thing. I love the memories that we made from it. So yeah.
What was going through your head when you realized you had to do a live rendition of Rip Pants with us on the crew?
So
What a hell of a night that was.
I was like, that was like something I never thought I'd do. I literally, you know, this is the thing about incentives, you know, you really have to make them seem like things that like are really enticing. I think that's why like I liked the road stream, was because it seemed like something that was like so miserable and so rage-inducing that it would encourage people to like donate just because it would be to see that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought kind of a similar thing with the Rip Pants thing. Between that and the stream was like I was willing to do this. I don't know how willing I was to do like the Rip Pants rendition. So
I love that's what your
when
priorities are. You have no problem doing 12 hours of robotic
like,
revenge, but then you're like, oh, I can't sing.
it makes me anxious, you know.
You know?
People to join me, and yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, I had a hell of a time that night.
Yeah, like I said, it was a really great time. Wouldn't change a thing.
Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Be sure to subscribe to ZakPak and Late Night Riders, aka RidersDX. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time on The Voice Artist, Interviews and Podcasts. Hey guys, just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this interview. Be sure to subscribe to my boys Zach and Riders. Sorry this took so long to come out, guys. I know we recorded this back in October, and sorry for the audio being so jumpy. My internet is being fixed tomorrow. It's currently January. This was recorded in October.